Greetings, my name is Monty Martin.
And I'm Kelly McLaughlin.
And we are the Dungeon Dudes. Welcome back to our series where we're talking about the new subclasses that we've introduced in our book, Sebastian Crowe's Guide to Drakkenheim, which is now live on Kickstarter.
Today we're going to be discussing the magical subclasses that we are bringing to life in our book. We've already discussed in previous videos about the contaminated subclasses and the martial subclasses, but today we're going to focus on all of those other great spellcasters and what they are bringing to the table in Sebastian Crowe's Guide to Drakkenheim.
First up, the destruction of Drakkenheim has inspired a wave of madness and doom across artists throughout the world of Drakkenheim, embodied in the College of Doomsayers Bards, who toll the bell that sounds the end of the earth.
These mad prophets speak dreadful words which allow them to use their bardic inspiration to either deal psychic damage and to cause their enemies to become frightened.
While other bards might be heralds of inspiration, the Doomsayer Bard is a herald of despair, and one of their high-level features, impending doom, causes any enemies that are frightened of them to have disadvantage on saving throws.
At 14th level, they gain the ability For Whom the Bell Tolls, and when they roll initiative, they get to choose a target within 60 feet, and all of the attacks against that target on the first round of combat have advantage.
Perhaps the Doomsayer Bards are not wrong when they foretell of a new age of darkness coming across the world, and there are those who truly believe in this and revel in it. These are the Clerics of the Shadow Domain, who worship a dark interpretation of the sacred flame, or who follow old gods associated with the darkest depths of the world itself.
Their domain spells include Hypnotic Pattern, Black Tentacles, and Dream, and they also get Chill Touch and Minor Illusion added for free. Their Channel Divinity feature, Cloak of the Night, allows them to envelop their party in a cloak of shadows, protecting them from incoming damage and extinguishing all light sources in the area.
The Shadow Domain Cleric is also able to use their shadow magic to twist space and shadow around their allies, teleporting them around the battlefield and moving them from one shadow to the next.
The Way of the Arcane Hand Monk is able to channel their ki into magical might, harnessing the powers of magic to gain full potential in spellcasting.
They learn a smattering of cantrips and are able to advance and cast all the way up to 4th level spells over the course of their character's progression. Their Erudite Technique ability, however, allows them to use intelligence instead of wisdom whenever they're using monk features such as their ki saving throw DC, or even to determine their unarmored defense.
Their Eldritch Flurry technique allows them to make a combo strike, combining their martial arts and unarmed strikes with the ability to cast spells at the same time.
And best of all, starting at 6th level, when the Way of the Arcane Hand Monk is concentrating on a spell, they add the level of the spell to the damage that they deal with monk weapons and unarmed strikes.
In the worlds of Drakkenheim, there are some paladins who do not swear oaths to the gods that they know, but instead swear oaths to creatures from the Fae or other worlds or even powerful witches.
These Oath of Hexes paladins gain a variety of occult and eldritch powers that they can use to bolster their arsenal. Their oath spells include such favorites as Hellish Rebuke, Eldritch Blast, and Bestow Curse.
They can use their Channel Divinity to unleash a curse of hexes on a target, giving them disadvantage on an ability score of their choosing.
At higher levels, they begin to project a bewitching aura, which allows them to redirect attacks against them or their allies back onto their enemies. And their high-level feature, Reversal of Fortune, means that when the Oath of Hex of Paladin suffers a critical hit, the next attack they make is also guaranteed to be a crit itself.
Lastly, we come to the Cosmic Warlock. This warlock draws its power from eldritch entities found in the space between stars, in the deep darkness of the void above.
Calling on the power of the constellations, the stars, the moons, and other celestial bodies, the Cosmic Pact Warlock is able to master spells such as Fairy Fire, Moonbeam, Spirit Guardians, and Flame Strike.
Not only this, but their Eldritch Blast hits like a shooting star, exploding on impact and causing additional damage to nearby targets.
Best of all, their Eldritch Blasts do radiant damage, and if these celestially empowered Eldritch Blasts happen to miss, High-level Cosmic Pact Warlocks can cause their Eldritch Blast to form into a orbiting asteroid around their head, which they can then send out on subsequent turns.
And so that is a brief look at our magical subclasses for Sebastian Crowe's Guide to Drakkenheim. If you haven't seen the previous videos that include the contaminated subclasses and the martial subclasses, this actually concludes all of the subclasses that we are going to be releasing in this book. While they're inspired by the world of Drakkenheim, all of these subclasses are usable in any 5th edition campaign. They are inspired by the lore and history and world that we have created. And if you are playing a character in a Drakkenheim campaign, you're going to find a lot of inspiration in the ideas behind these characters and the lore on where they come from, who they worship, and how they gain their powers.
And if new subclasses aren't enough for you, we've also created an entire new base class, the Apothecary. So be sure to check out our video all about that new class as well.
Thank you so much for joining us as we detail all of these new subclasses, and get ready because if you've backed the project, the playtest for all of these subclasses and more is coming this fall. So you will be able to get your hands on the playtest material and give us feedback on what is working, what you love, and what might need to be tweaked a little bit very, very soon.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time in Drakkenheim.